been posting every day for the last 6 months, 3 likes, and one of them is from someone who's trying to sell you their services. Sales have been harder than usual, so you dropped your price hoping it will make the decision easier for people, but nothing really changed. You did everything they told you to do, and at the end of the month, you're staring at the same numbers, thinking the thought you were most afraid to think. Maybe I'm just not built for this. That thought is a lie, and I can prove it. Look at two business owners who started from almost the same place. Same year, similar experience, the same advice from me, and the exact same tools. One grew a school from just 5 students into a successful business. The other followed the same process, step by step, but his sales never took off and he eventually decided to quit. Same starting point, same advice, opposite endings, and for years I couldn't explain why. Until I read this one book that changed everything. And I'm going to say a word you're probably going to hate. Belief. Stay with me because I don't mean think positive. I mean a mechanism backed by research that changes which opportunities you notice, which actions you take, and whether you keep going long enough for your work to produce results. Build it, and the effort you're already putting in finally has the chance to pay off. Ignore it, and you can follow every strategy correctly and stay exactly where you are. So if you know what to do, but your business still isn't moving, this video will show you what's stopping you and how to change it. Now let me tell you who these two really are because the details are the point. First came to me as a music teacher with 5 private students. He also had 1 kid in preschool, another in his arms, a wife heading to work in the morning, him picking up gigs at night just to make the month. Every reason in the world to say, not now, maybe next year. He didn't. 3 years later, and he has his own school, hundreds of singers have come through it, people buy from him all over the world, and he's making money he never imagined saying out loud. The second one is the part that's still hard for me. Another music teacher, 5 students also. He did every single thing I told him to. Buy the book, to the letter, the posts, the calls, the campaigns. It all should have worked, but everything got stuck a little. Results came too slow, too small. Every step took him twice as long, and bit by bit, he wore down. A month, 6 months, a year later, he ended up almost exactly where he started. And then, he stopped. Here's what got to me. I've watched this exact pair play out dozens of times. Both of them work. The stuck one, sometimes harder. Same tools, same market, same openings. One flies while the other one grinds and barely moves. And the whole difference is the one thing I just named. So let's break it open. Nir Eyal, a behavioral scientist who taught at Stanford, spent 6 years researching why some people take actions while others stay stuck. He found that every action you take depends on 3 things. Motivation isn't a straight line, he says. It's a triangle. First, you need to know what to do. Second, you need to believe the action is worth taking. That's obvious. But there's a third piece. You have to believe that you specifically are capable of doing it. Most people already have the first 2. They know what needs to happen and they understand why it matters. But when that third belief is missing, the other 2 don't lead to action. In other words, you can know exactly how to grow your business and still stay stuck because some part of you doesn't believe the outcome will be any different for you. And here's what that looks like in real life, and I've seen that hundreds of times. You do open the laptop, you do write the post, but you write it softer, more careful, because part of you is already braced for it not to work. Or you get on a sales call and fold the second someone hesitates. The steps happen, but each one comes at half power and hands you back half a result. That's the stuck guy. He did everything, but it all came out of him a little dim. Have you ever felt that way? That flips everything you've been told. They told you, get a result first, then you'll believe. But every person I've watched actually build something did it the other way around. The belief came first, and the results followed it. All right, start with what belief changes first. What you can see. And I don't mean that as a metaphor. 2 people can walk into the exact same room and their eyes will hand them 2 different worlds. Here's the science Nir points to. Every second your senses pour about 11 million bits of information into your brain. Conscious part of you, the part you actually experience, handles about 50. 50 out of 11 million. Everything else is filtered out before you even notice it. And what decides which 50 gets through isn't your logic. It's your belief. We live our whole lives looking through a keyhole. And our beliefs chooses what fits into the frame. And they proved it with a simple study. They took people who believe they're lucky and people who believe they're not, and they handed everyone the same newspaper with a hidden message inside saying, "Stop counting. There are 43 pictures in this magazine." The people who believed they were lucky spotted it in seconds, 11 seconds actually. The ones who believed they weren't read right past it. Same page, same message. Belief decided who could even see it. Also, Nir tells a story about a woman named Anne. As a kid, she watched her father battle a gambling addiction, and then she watched him recover. That built one deep belief in her. People can change. Years later, she's running past a homeless shelter every morning, and where everyone else saw broken people on the sidewalk, Anne saw runners. People who can turn their lives around with a little structure and a team. From that one thought, she built an organization that got thousands of people off the street. Now here's the thing, she wasn't standing anywhere different. Same sidewalk, same people, same information. Her keyhole just let in what everyone else filtered out. Your belief is choosing which 50 bits you see, which means your next opportunity to grow might be sitting in front of you right now, completely invisible to you and completely obvious to your competitor. Not because he's smarter, because his belief lets him see it as "for me," while yours has you looking straight at it and never registering it's there. Same corners, one man sees doors, the other sees walls. Quick thing before we keep going, if you just caught yourself thinking, "Wait, that's me," hit subscribe and like. It tells YouTube to send you more like this. And it tells me what's landing so I know where to take the next ones for you. Now the next part is the most personal one in this video. Alright, seeing is one thing, belief reaches somewhere harder, into what your body will actually let you do. In the book, Nir shares about a researcher named Cook Richter that put rats in water they couldn't climb out of and timed how long they'd swim before giving up. I know, pretty wild. Thank God you can't do researches like that today. On average, it took them about 15 minutes before they gave up. Then they drowned. Then he changed one thing. Right before a rat quit, he lifted it up, let it rest for a moment, and dropped it back in. And the second time, he timed it again, and how long do you think it swam? Not 15 minutes, 60 hours. Same body, same water. The only thing that changed is that it now knew rescue was possible. There was a point to swimming. Richter's own line was this: once you remove the hopelessness, the rats don't die. Sit with that for a minute. The strength to swim 60 hours was in them the whole time. Even in the ones that quit after 15 minutes, they just never reached it. Hope didn't add strength, it unlocked strength that was already there. And here's what that says about you. If you're stuck, you probably assume something in you is broken. But the science says the opposite. The researchers who coined the term learned hopelessness later reversed themselves. Giving up is the brain's default setting under pressure. It's not damage, it's factory mode. The thing that's actually learned, built from nothing, is hope. And if hope is built, then it's not luck and it's not personality, it's a skill. And you build it the exact same way the rat did. And I'm not talking about diving into water, I'm talking about the fact that you make a small move, you see it moved something, and then your brain learns there's a point. Now I hold it against my two guys that I told you before. Same ability sitting in both, one quit at the third hard month, one swam right past it. Now I didn't always do this work. Before any of it, I was a musician. And for 2 years, I played in 2 bands at the same time. Same me, same stages, living in 2 completely opposite worlds. With the first, we played show after show to a handful of people that never grew. With the second, the crowd grew in front of our eyes until the same room started selling out. And the difference didn't start on stage, it started in the car on the way there. Driving to a show with the first band, we quietly prepare ourselves for a small crowd. Now driving to the same kind of show with the second band, we showed up certain something was about to happen. In both the cases, they turned out to be true. And here's what matters for you. In the first band, I led the belief. I was the front man. Everyone followed what I brought, and I brought defeat. In the second band, I was just the bass player. The belief came from our drummer, a guy who believed in us with everything he had, and he swept all of us up in it. Even me, same person, one band, I generated the belief that sank us. The other, I caught a belief that lifted us. And that taught me something I still use. One of the fastest ways to build belief is to stop trying to manufacture it alone and put yourself next to someone who believes in the outcome you want even more than you do. Drummer never lectured me about mindset. He just believed out loud so hard I couldn't help but believe with him. And it all ran through the same keyhole, my keyhole. On the way to the first show, my brain filtered every empty table and bored face. On the way to the second, the same brain filtered in hundreds of people leaning in. What I saw set how I played, and how I played set what the crowd gave back. Like one link pulling the next. Which means that belief isn't something you're born with and stuck with. It's catching, and you get to choose who's you stand next. You get on a stage like this every day as well, even without a guitar. Every sales call, every post, you show up already prepared for some version of the room. So the only real question is, which of the two bands are you getting ready for on the drive? And if you think you're safe from all of this because you're a realist, you're the one more exposed. Because here's what happens when you tell yourself, I'll see a result first, then I'll believe it. Sounds responsible, but it's the most dangerous move there is. While you wait for the business to prove itself before you believe in it, your doubt is already manufacturing the exact failure you're waiting for. So you write a safe post, you fold on the call, you quit right before the turn. Then you look at the result and say, see, I knew it. You didn't know, you caused it. Not intentionally. In the book, Nir names this as nocebo, but expecting the worst is what produces it. And I know it because I lived both sides. I started businesses I didn't really believe in. I called it being realistic. The truth is, I was protecting myself from disappointment in advance. And every one of them slowly shrank until it shut down. For 20 years, I called that proof. It took me way too long to see it wasn't proof, it was a prophecy I wrote in advance. Which of course this book made me see so clearly. But I also started businesses I believed in without a flicker of a doubt. One of them hit 7 figures in 3 years, faster than anyone around me expected. Same me, same hands, same market, same luck. The only difference between the ones that withered and the ones that flew was which belief I carried through the door. So that voice telling you, I'm not sure that this will work for me, that doubt, that's not an honest read of your situation. It's an old habit that's been writing your failures in advance. And the habit, unlike a fact, you can replace. Here's how. First thing to know is how you don't do it. You don't decide to believe. You can't sit down tomorrow and announce, I believe now, and expect it to hold. That's not how it works. Belief isn't a switch. Here's what actually works. Nir never gave it a name, but I started calling it the proof loop just so I could hold on to it. 5 moves. 1. Choose the belief before it chooses you. Your belief is already deciding which 50 bits you see. Most people will leave that to chance, and the keyhole fills with everything that confirms they're stuck. So pick up one belief you want to test this week, not because it feels true yet, because you've decided to run the experiment with this specific tool. Number 2, don't try to believe in the entire outcome at once. You don't need to convince yourself that your whole business is going to explode tomorrow. You only need enough evidence to believe the next step could work. That evidence might be someone with a similar background who achieved the result you want, or it might be a small win you've already had, like a client who said yes, an offer that got good response, or a decision that moved the business forward. You're not trying to prove that everything will work. You're giving yourself a concrete reason to believe that the next action is worth taking. Number 3, use that evidence to take one focused action in the area that matters most. Don't spread your efforts across 10 different changes. Choose the one action most likely to affect the result you want. If you make videos, that might mean improving the first 15 seconds. If you send sales emails, it might mean rewriting the subject line. The goal isn't to do more. It's to use the belief you've built in to take one meaningful action, see what happens, and create the next piece of evidence. Number 4, when it moves, stop and write it down. This is a step everyone skips, and it's the whole thing. Your brain remembers every failure and forgets every small win within minutes. So you keep the record, it won't keep for you. 5, and this is the test for all of it. Measure by action, not by feeling. A good belief isn't the one that feels best, it's the one that pulls one more try out of you. Catch yourself daydreaming a beautiful result in doing nothing? that one's dead weight. Catch yourself sending one more message, making one more call, that one's working. Movement is the measure, always. Because in the end, belief was never a fact you were waiting to be handed. It's a tool, Nir says, and which one you pick up was always yours to choose. So this week, don't try to fix all of it. Take the one voice of doubt that stops you most and hand it a single sliver of proof that it's wrong. One small action it's been talking you out of. I spent years waiting for success to show up first and give me permission to believe. But it runs the other way. Belief goes first. You're already getting on stage every day. The only question is which belief you bring with you. And the choice was yours the whole time. So here's your first experiment. I want you to right now drop one comment with a single thing you're taking from this video. Just one, the line that stuck. I read them and I build the next video straight from your answers. And then notice what that is. One small action instead of waiting. That's the loop starting. Now, one last thing before you go, I told you to aim that first proof at the one place that moves the needle most. For most business owners, that place is the message itself. And here's the trap. They build it in words like confidence and growth and success and money, words that sound great but sell nothing. Instead of the exact sentence the customer is already saying in their own head. So watch this one next, where I show you how to stop guessing your message and pull it straight from your customer's own mouth. So your posts and your ads start pulling people into what actually fit what you sell. I'm Ido Letterman. Thanks for watching. Go build your first loop, and I'll see you out there.